Hi everybody, FPL Witty here, back for another of my regular FPL videos, and it's actually going to be the final video of the season. So not long to go now. We've only got one game week to go, so probably be my last one now till next season. So I think as soon as game week 38 finishes, I'll be on the beach and putting my feet up for a long, well-earned rest. It's certainly been a long season, hasn't it? And a testing one for a lot of us as well. A very unique season again, with the World Cup shoved right in the middle for a few weeks, but we got there in the end. So just one game week to go. So I'm recording this on the back of game week 37. I'm recording this on Friday morning after game week 37 finished on Thursday night. So just one game week to go now. So it's going to be a game week 38 where all teams play simultaneously. So we've got everybody, all 10 matches kicking off at 4:30 on Sunday. So it's going to be an interesting wrap up to what's been certainly an interesting and a challenging season. So we'll do the usual. We've got 15 minutes. We'll just have a look back at the game week that's gone. We'll have a look at my game week briefly, but more importantly, we'll have a look ahead, see what fun and games lie in store in game week 38. So yeah, we've certainly got a lot of the key issues settled, haven't we? We had the title race all done and dusted now after that Arsenal slip up at Forest, handed the title on a plate to Manchester City before they played any of their two games in their double game week. So it's all done now. City relentless. They looked well off the pace in terms of catching Arsenal for long chunks of the season, didn't they? But just relentless in the end, and no doubt worthy winners in the end. So well done, Manchester City. But of course, what that Arsenal victory over Forest did, apart from keeping Forest safe as well, well done to them, it meant that Pep was able to absolutely wield the axe on our Manchester City players in the two games of the double game week. So that had quite big implications really for our scores and our teams. Of course, we had the likes of, I think Chelsea would have been full strength pretty much against Chelsea in that first match, but we had some high profile players not playing. So the likes of Haaland, he got reduced minutes, but the likes of Grealish, he missed out altogether. Diaz, he missed out altogether. So not many players played twice. And with some players missing out altogether, what it meant, of course, is that the bench points that we had came into play as well. So that Arsenal win had quite far-reaching implications, really, because it meant the weaker Man City players missing out meant that the Trippier points in particular came flying off benches. So it really was quite a big moment in the game week. But well done if you had a good one. I mean, in terms of the other issues, they're all pretty much sorted as well now, aren't they? Well, a lot of them. We've got Manchester United and Newcastle already guaranteed Champions League football. We've got Brighton and Liverpool, they're secure now for the Europa League. So we've just got three teams fighting it out for that Conference League spot. And of course, we've got a big battle for the relegation places, with three teams fighting it out, and there'll only be one of Leicester, Leeds or Everton who managed to survive. So that will be certainly the interest that we've all got instead of the title race on Sunday. But yeah, it was certainly an interesting one. It was a double game week for four teams, and we had some unlikely top scorers really from those four teams. We had Casemiro was the highest scoring Manchester United player in their double after he scored twice. We had Ortega was the highest scoring Manchester City player, incredible 16 points, and I think that's more than Ederson has scored in his last 7 games. So that's a further knife in really for Ederson owners, isn't it really? And Brighton, we had a unlikely top scorer there as well with Evan Ferguson. So it was certainly a double that threw up a few surprises. But Manchester United got 2 wins. Chelsea ready for the beach, definitely, aren't they? They got 2 defeats, and it was 4 points each for Manchester City and Brighton. But Erling Haaland was the again, the popular captain amongst the top managers and amongst the highly engaged managers. But of course he got reduced minutes. In that second game, of course, he could have got an absolute bucket full of goals. So those who took him on with other players, they certainly got away with murder this week. So I thought Haaland could have had 4 goals in that second game. He had 1 ruled out for a push by VAR, but he also missed a few sitters as well, didn't he? So it was nearly a big haul for Haaland. He was my captain as well. But yeah, Bruno Fernandes, he came good in the end with a penalty after he was quite popular captain as well. So in the end, if you took him Haaland on with Bruno, then you got your rewards in the end after that penalty. But he could have had a lot more as well, couldn't he? But yeah, certainly an eventful game. A few nice romantic stories as well, with Bobby Firmino scoring on his last appearance at Liverpool, and Harry Kane. I think he's widely expected to be leaving Spurs, isn't he? He's got 1 more game away to play, of course, at Leeds, but it looks like Harry's played his last game potentially at home, and he's signed out with a goal, but it wasn't enough as Spurs lost. So yeah, plenty going on, and a lot of the key battles now are sorted, so it's all eyes on that relegation spot. But of course, all eyes on our FPL Game Week 38, which is going to decide a lot of our mini leagues and our ranks as well. Quick look at my game week before we look ahead. I had a sort of mixed game week, really, a bit of in the end, an escape, because it looked like being a lot worse. But I had 7 returning players. I tried to put 8 double game week players on the pitch, but I think it was only 5 or 6 that managed to get 2 games starting in the end. So that's the sort of game it was for a lot of us. But I did manage 7 returners. My Manchester United trio of Bruno, Rashford and Shaw, they came in good. Mitoma and McAllister managed a little assist. Salah did as well. Haaland got assist as captain, but wasn't a great week. I was down in the end slightly. I was down from 130k to 133k, so the smallest of red arrows for me in the end. But I think the thing that hurt me this week was everybody getting Trippier off the bench at first sub. He was my first sub. Well done if you played him, but for me it was very difficult for me to play him with all my double game week players and also having Trent as well. So I think in hindsight, the only player I could have played instead of Trippier in my starting lineup was potentially Isak. But given how many goals Newcastle are conceding and how many they're scoring, I stand by that decision. I think it was just unlucky, but certainly plenty got the Trippier points off the bench, and he was actually my biggest rank loser this week, even though he's my own player. So I think that's where my colour of my arrow was decided this week. But a few near misses. Isak could have had a few, of course. Mitoma had a goal and assist wiped out by VAR. Just one of those where it wasn't meant to be, I think, really. But yeah, so we're on to game week 38. So all games take place, all 10 games take place at 4:30 UK time on Sunday. Be careful of that deadline at 3 o'clock on Sunday. And it's going to be quite a strange game week, because the significant takeaway now is that most of the players that we have in our teams, made up of the popular teams, most of the popular players that we've got, will have nothing resting on this final game. So it could be a bizarre situation now where we get lots and lots of rotation in our game week 38 teams. Might all be a bit of a worry about nothing, and we might get next to most of them playing, but I think there's a strong chance that they're going to be rotated. So I think what a lot of people will be doing this week is sitting in a little quiet dark room in the last 30 minutes before deadline and waiting for these team leaks, because of course the team leaks are getting ever more reliable now, particularly from the more popular teams that we've got, and with all teams playing simultaneously, whereas the team leak for this first game only really affects the first game up. Every team are playing together, so I think there's a strong chance that we get multiple team leaks. So I'll probably be playing the multiple team leaks waiting game. Hope the site doesn't crash, but I've got a bit of a plan of action for if any of my key players miss out. So I think that could be a good tactic. I suppose it's a bit different if you're out for lunch, Sunday dinner with the in-laws. Fiddling under the table with your phone for team leaks is probably not the best idea, or maybe you're out on the golf course or out on the beach early. But I think certainly if you've got the chance to wait for the last 30 minutes this week, it could well be some benefits in it for you. I've got a bit of a plan of action in that I've got 7 players potentially lined up, potentially even more, for a what-if scenario if players miss out. So for example, if we find out Haaland's not in the squad, then Harry Kane is an obvious candidate to come in. Maybe even if Haaland's benched, that could be the case. But that will affect captaincy as well, of course. I mean, if Salah's benched, that could bring the likes of Ødegaard in as well. If we got the 2 Brighton mids, I think Brighton look completely shattered at the moment, don't they? I think there's every chance they'll rotate. So if the Brighton mids miss out, then maybe Eze of Crystal Palace will be popular as well. And if Isak misses out up front, I could maybe go to Alvarez if we get confirmation that he's playing, or I might fancy a bit of a punt on Ollie Watkins. So there's absolutely loads of permutations. So I've got my flow chart out this week just in case players miss out. So I think you do need to have a look at your team and just have a bit of a what if scenario if the likes of Salah, Rashford, Shaw, Haaland miss out. What's your plan of action? So I think that would be a good idea, and I'll certainly be playing that waiting game. But yeah, so I'll try and crack on. It's not been an amazing season for me, bit of a modest season. So I think I'm about 14 points off that top 100k, so it's going to be a bit of a push. I need a bit of a super duper week really to get inside the top 100k. Bit of a disappointment when I was at 30k after just 12 game weeks, but failed to capitalise. But that's how it is. So lots of sort of brutal 50-50s, and it's a game of chance, as we know. You can't beat yourself up too much when you make these decisions. Ultimately, a lot of the things that happen out on the pitch are outside our control. But well done if you've had a fantastic week. I think if you're playing against your mini league rivals this week, there'll be a lot of cases of people choosing differential captains to try and bridge that gap. So if you maybe want to throw your captain on Brian Mbeumo or Mitrovic, I think there's nothing wrong in having a bit of a dabble this week for a differential captain that could make all the difference. If you're 15-20 points behind, that could be a last throw of the dice. Or if you can find a nice little sort of 1% differential as well. So it depends very much if you're chasing or if you're holding, or what your expectations are for your rank. But good luck with game week 38. It's been a pleasure doing these videos. Hopefully I'll be back in pre-season to do some more. But I wish you good luck. So I wish you good luck in game week 38, and I also wish your families and yourself all the best and good health for the summer break as well. So if you want to follow my team a little bit more closely, I'm on Twitter at FPL Witty. I also write weekly articles for Fantasy Football Geek website. That will be coming out on today, on Friday, as my last article of the season, and I'll be back again hopefully in July. So all the best for game week 38, and I hope you finish on a green arrow. So good luck with that, and I'll see you in due course. So, or as they say in Barnsley, I'll see thee.